You're hugging someone you love and you're holding your breath, waiting for it to be over. Not because you don't love them, you do. It's just that when they hold on that little bit too long, something in you goes tight and starts counting down to when you can let go. And you've never admitted that to another living soul. Because what kind of person needs a hug to end? I bet no one told you this though. It's not a flaw in you, it's a decision. A decision you made once when you were small, in an ordinary house, on a night you probably don't remember. Someone you needed didn't show up, or did in all the wrong ways. And something in you worked out that holding on wasn't safe. It was the right decision back then. The problem is, you're still using the same logic now, 30 years later, in the arms of someone who simply never hurt you. You might have heard the term avoidant attachment. Maybe someone's already decided that's what you are. Forget the label for a second. Let's look at what's actually happening. It's not coldness, and it's not you being difficult. It's a strategy your nervous system built back when getting close to someone stopped being safe. The technical word for it is deactivation, which tells you absolutely nothing about what it's actually like. Because what it actually is the same tightness, the same counting down, kicking in at the exact moment someone gets close enough to matter. Someone anxious gets scared and moves towards you. You get scared and move away. Same fear, opposite reflex. So the wanting is real and the running is real. They're happening in the same body at the same time. That's why it feels like insanity from the inside. Like you're broken in some weird way that you can't explain. That's the definition. But the definition isn't the problem. The problem is this same pull. The one that feels like nothing much in the moment has cost you the very people you didn't want to lose. It feels like a moving target. Too far from your person and you feel lonely and flat. Too close and you feel suffocated. So say you have a genuinely good night with someone, a real conversation, the kind where you feel like they actually see you. You go to bed feeling closer than you have in months. And the next morning you read their good morning text, a nice one, and suddenly words escape you. You leave it for a couple of hours and then you reply with something a bit shorter than you intended. You got the outline down pat, but there's no substance behind it. If they ask you what's wrong, you'll say nothing, all good, and you'll both know that's not completely true. Notice the timing. It happens right after things went well. That's not random, that's the sign. From the inside, it doesn't feel like rejection. It feels like damage control. It's the only way you know how to love someone without drowning and dragging them down with you. You're not going cold to punish anyone. You're trying to get your nervous system back down to a level where you can survive. Regardless of what anyone says, you feel a sense of grief. You know exactly what you're doing and you hate it. You think back over the good people you've met throughout your life. The kind, steady, actually available people you pushed away. Some of them before you even realized you were doing it. And what's left is regret for all the doors you've shut on people who were only ever trying to get in. And the cruel part? The exact closeness you keep pushing away is the one thing that would fill the emptiness you seem to carry around. None of this started with you. So where did it start? It's not always obvious neglect. When you hear childhood and attachment in the same breath, you picture something big, yelling, a parent gone, a clear villain you could point at. And because your own childhood didn't look like that, you switch off. My parents were good. We had a nice house. Nothing bad ever happened to me. So this isn't about me. And that right there is exactly how it hides. Because this doesn't need a monster in the house. It happens in normal looking homes, through small, repeated moments where a kid's feelings were dismissed instead of met. Not once, not cruelly, just often enough that the kid did the maths. Let's make it a real kid. Picture a 7-year-old boy. We'll call him Sam. It's a Tuesday night and something happened at school. One of those things that's enormous when you're 7 and nothing when you're 40. He comes out to the kitchen to find his mum. He's feeling things he just doesn't understand. He just needs her to listen and help him unpack it. She isn't a bad mum. She's tired. She's halfway through the dishes and the tap is running. So she says, without turning around, "You're all right, off you go. Big boys don't cry over stuff like that." And that's it. That's the whole event. No bruise, no memory worth keeping. He goes back to his room and he's fine. Except it happens again on a Thursday and a few weeks later, and a small handful of times a year for years. Slightly different words each time. A kid's brain is a pattern finding machine. So eventually, Sam draws the only conclusion he can think of. Reaching out to people results in being let down. So I'll stop reaching. If I need less, I'll hurt less. And honestly, that's a brilliant piece of engineering. It's a little boy solving an impossible problem with the one tool he has. If needing people hurts, need less. He creates a version of himself that can get through anything without even asking another living soul for help. And it works. It genuinely keeps him safe. It doesn't have to be a running tap and a pile of dishes. It's a dad who was in the room physically, but mentally somewhere else. It's a house where you learn to understand your mum's mood before you understood your own. It's rules that change depending on the day. So keeping your head down was just the safest bet. Different houses, same lesson. I can only really count on myself. Comfort won't be there when I reach for it, so I'd better not reach. The problem is nobody ever goes back and checks that lesson. You wrote it when you were 7, and then you just grew up around it. It picked who you fell for. It determined exactly how close you let anyone get. And now you're an adult, stepping back from someone genuinely amazing who is only trying to be there for you. You're following instructions a frightened kid wrote at a kitchen bench a lifetime ago. And even great parents do this. This doesn't need a bad childhood. It doesn't need a diagnosis or a story with a detailed outline. It happens in loving, ordinary homes where everyone did their best. The fridge was full. The lights stayed on. It's almost never about what was done to you. It's about what should have happened, yet didn't. The noticing, the naming, someone turning off the kitchen tap and turning around to actually see you. This is when it stops being only about closeness and starts being about your worth. Because when a kid reaches out and gets, "You're all right, off you go," they don't just learn that feelings are a nuisance. They learn something about what they're worth. They learn they're a little bit too much when they're in need and a little bit more acceptable when they don't. So the wall and the not enough feeling aren't two completely separate problems. They both came from the same place. The same kid who decides needing is dangerous is the kid who decides they're too much. The armor that keeps people at arm's length is the exact same armor telling you that you were never quite enough to begin with. And that feeling, that low hum of not enough you carry into every room, you weren't born with it. It was added later by nights exactly like Sam's, which, when it actually sinks in, is the most hopeful thing I can tell you. Because anything that was added, you can see. And anything you see, you can start to let go. So what do you do with it now? And I'll be honest, because most of the advice out there is just useless. Just open up, people say. Just be vulnerable. As if the wall you built was like a light switch you could just flick off if you cared enough. It's not. Telling a nervous system like yours to just open up is like telling someone mid-panic to just relax. So here's what I'll leave you with instead. 2 things that are both true at the same time. Your defenses worked. They kept a small, unprotected kid safe when nobody else was doing that job. And they're costing you the exact closeness you actually want now. Both. You don't have to be angry at the wall to want to tear it down. You can be grateful for it. It saved you. And you can also realize that you're not 7 anymore. And the thing that once protected your life is now standing between you and the life you want. You can want to be close to someone and take it at a pace that you can actually handle. It was never 0 to 100. There's a speed in between and you're allowed to move at it. The first step is smaller than you think. It's not a big confession. It's simply this. Next time you feel the cooling, the stepping back, the sudden need for space right after a good moment, don't act on it. Just notice it and name it to yourself in these exact words. There it is. That's the old strategy running. The one from when I was small. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to force yourself to stay. You just have to notice it once instead of blindly following it on autopilot. Because the second you can see the pattern, you're not trapped in it anymore. So if you've spent your life thinking you're just not a relationship person, or that you're too independent, or somehow too much and not enough all at once, here's the actual truth. You're not broken, you're protected. There's a difference and it changes everything. You were a kid with big feelings and no one to help you understand them. So you taught yourself not to have them. That's not a fault. That's a small person being resourceful in ways they never should have had to. You were born whole. The wall, the too much, the not enough. All of it was added on top of someone who was already, from the very start, completely enough. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's putting down what was added over the years, slowly, until the person who was there the whole time gets to come back into the room. It was never you. It was that once, when it counted, nobody turned around. I made a video on the everyday habits that give this away. The ones you'd never connect back to childhood. Watch that one next. You might just recognize yourself. And if you do, it might make you slightly uncomfortable. In all the best ways.